Hello friends, Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat, Namo Buddhaya. I am Nikhil Sablania from New Delhi. Today I am going to present a very important program for you. I have already made another video in Hindi which you can go and watch, but there could be some information which is in this video which I forgot or I missed or I didn't think of giving in that video. Now why this program? That is the first question. But before that question, an idea, a thinking, a thought suddenly came into my mind when I was taking rest before this video, when I made Hindi video. I said in that video that today is the hottest day, one of the hottest day. You can see my shirt is wet from here while I was making that video. One of the hottest day I have ever felt in Delhi, I would say. By numbers, the temperature is 44 degrees centigrade, but they are saying that you are feeling a heat of 52 degrees centigrade. There is no air conditioner over here. The fan is off. The only thing is a cooling left after I turned off the water cooler. So what I was thinking in between these two videos, which I am thinking for a long time, since I have started reading about the history of the political works of Dr. Ambedkar. And what's that? I see that very few people watch my videos. Though Dr. Ambedkar has said that actually very few people understand politics. But it's also important that everyone should understand politics. This is also Dr. Ambedkar has said. I wanted to make these videos so that these videos will not only come into the public domain, but because I thought that it's important to make these videos on these topics which I have chosen. But going through the history of political works of Dr. Ambedkar, I will give you some examples of his work. Nowadays, it's very rare to find a meeting taking place at 9 o'clock and then at 11 o'clock, at 8 o'clock in the night and then 10 o'clock in the night. Nowadays, when I call some people, particularly from the scheduled castes, and ask them, would you please come for an interview or a series of interview, they are reluctant. But think about the time 100 years ago when there was almost no electricity, no water coolers, no air conditioners, no means of transport, no mobile phones, no telephones. At that time, people were having meetings, programs at 8 o'clock in the night, 10 o'clock in the night. What kind of passion was there? And the people today who are enjoying whatever they got by the struggle of those people, by the struggle of Dr. Ambedkar, they don't have such passion. And now I am not talking just about one particular class of people, scheduled castes. This message is relevant to all the classes, all the religions, scheduled castes, OBCs, other backward classes, scheduled tribes, or Aboriginal Indians. The Dvij classes of Hindu, so-called upper classes of Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, Christians, Parsis, and so on, and also relevant for all the world wherever there is democracy. So this inspiration, one must take example from this inspiration of Dr. Ambedkar and the people at that time. Another example I would like to give you before coming to the topic of this video. There was a Scheduled Caste Federation taking place in 1942, and Dr. Ambedkar was not well. Though he traveled by train from Delhi to, I think, Nagpur. Yeah, at Nagpur to attend that meeting. Overnight he journeyed And on the next day, and he was sick, he was not well, he delivered two speeches, one in Marathi and one in English. And on the next day, he delivered speech for the women conference. In that conference, 75,000 people came. From them, 20 to 25,000 were women. This is another example of Dr. Ambedkar and those people who were enthusiasts. Because it is because of the enthusiasm of those people. And now where is that enthusiasm now? It has been taken by the sports, IPL, cricket league matches, kabaddi matches, cinemas, watching web series, watching songs, entertainment produced by the capitalists. It's not only taking your money, it's taking your important time, and it's also taking your important opportunity to form political classes, to discuss the political matters. As I said in my previous video, you might not follow politics, but politics will follow you. You have to understand this statement, which I wrote around a year back. You might not follow politics, politics will follow you. Because from birth to death to profession to married life to any accident to the childbirth, everywhere, schooling, colleging, businesses, everywhere there is law, and politics is responsible for that law. So politics is there whether you say ignorantly or not ignorantly that I don't want to follow politics. Politics is not my business. Politics is not my profession. This is a profession for a special class of politicians. This is a profession only for the politicians. If you say this, you are wrong, my dear friends. You have to understand the politics. I also wrote last night that Indians are politically illiterate. And Dr. Ambedkar said that although he said for the 8 crore untouchables or scheduled caste at that time, I think that thing applies. Is saying is applying to all the people who are part of democracy. What is democracy? Do you know what is democracy? You divide this word democracy means demo and cracy. Demo means people. Crazy means rule. People's rule is called democracy. That's why it is said democracy is for the people, of the people, by the people, whatever they say. It's the people's ruling. But people's ruling will only come true if the people participates, if the people understand, if the people discuss, if people read, if people think. You have to think politics, you have to read politics, you have to discuss politics. Only then it will become a democracy. But why is the need for do all these mental tasks? You all know what was the situation before democracy. Democracy is the gift of civilization. It is a gift of human civilization which you got after 10,000 years of civilization. It is a cherishable gift, a gift you never got, a gift which has given you everything, which has made you presidents, prime ministers, ministers, bureaucrats, a gift to class of people considered as untouchables, a gift to class of people always remain poor, a gift of education, a gift of doing business to the class of people never allowed to do business, a gift to participate in all the activities of the human life. This is democracy. This you have to understand. There could be a never ever bigger gift than democracy. The people's rule, the rules people make. But what if people don't participate? What if people don't learn it? If they remain illiterate in politics? Then what will happen is the topic of this video. The major reason I am making this video was reading of the book One of the speech of Dr. Ambedkar in his writings and speeches, volume number 17, part 3, on page number 364. So I was reading this page on the next day. First day I read it, I didn't put it mark what Dr. Ambedkar was trying to say. On the next day, by mistake, I read it again, thinking that I haven't read it, and my mind stuck to one sentence which he wrote, which he delivered, which is written in the book. That sentence inspired me to make this video. That is why I'm making this video in the hottest day ever I have seen in my life in Delhi or elsewhere, anywhere. It's hot, it's humid, unbearable. I remain inside my office. I walked outside in the night, and it was like walking into a pressure cooker. So much heat was there outside. Now it's 2:15 in the night. I am making this because I believe, because of my years of learning. It's my acumen, it's my mind that caught this sentence. My years of learning, reading, writing, thinking, reflecting, I picked this sentence. I'm telling you, very rare people. I don't know whether in the history anybody would have tell you the meaning, real meaning of this sentence. This sentence is a historical sentence in democracy, in the history of democracy. It's important for all the people all around the world. So I will read this sentence, then I will tell you the example of this sentence. I will tell you the importance of this sentence. The sentence says, all that they wanted was equal political rights and no patronage. All they wanted was, they means scheduled castes, a class of people, depressed classes in India. Though he is saying about them, but it's relevant to all the people that I'm going to explain how it's important to all the people in India, all the people in outside India, and those who are the students of politics, teachers of politics, politicians, and as I said, everyone must learn politics. So this sentence is, all that they wanted to say, all they wanted was equal political rights and no patronage. So two things he is saying, that for a class of people, what they wanted, what they need, what they have, equal political rights and no patronage. Now you remember one thing, this one particular phrase, no patronage, no patronage, no patronage in the politics. No patronage in the politics. When he said equal political rights, this means adult franchisee to vote and to contest in the elections for everyone. But this was for particularly one class. So I will come to the part which is not so important, equal political rights. It's not, it's a technical thing. Equal political rights, it means rights for everyone. That means right to vote for everyone. All I could say, all I wanted to say about this, to achieve this equal political rights, first you need to have the political knowledge, as I said. Secondly, you have to vote, you have to cast your vote. Because unless and until you won't cast your vote, you won't get equal political rights. Then what will you get after that? You go to vote, you don't cast in the right number, everyone doesn't vote. Then you don't get equal political right, because then you will get the second part, you will get patronage, and about that, Dr. Ambedkar is saying no patronage. So no patronage will come if the voting rights are equal, and with equal, you have to cast your vote. In the example of India, everyone should have voter's ID card, everyone should go and cast the vote. But with that added, you must have political knowledge. Now come to the most important part, and this phrase caught my attention. This phrase caught my attention of years of learning, that no patronage. Those people who don't understand the meaning of patronage, patronage means to provide some subsistence to some person or some class of people. Now, when you provide something to someone, the person or the class of people you are providing remains dependent on you. And when we say equal political rights, this means that class or that person has no right in the law making, in the ruling, in the constitution to ask for something as their right. What they will get some subsistence, some benefit, depending upon the person who is providing them. To understand it easily, suppose, and in the history we have seen there were kings, there were badshahs, rajas, and they had musicians, painters, poets, and they were paying to them. They were working for the king or badshah or the raja. Their whole subsistence was dependent upon those kings. But they had no right. They could not say, we have right. That is why the king is providing us. So your rights, there is no question of right. You might get, you might not get. So Dr. Ambedkar says, no patronage. So no situation where you depend upon the mercy of the giver. Either the giver is a king or a badshah or a raja or a government. No mercy by the government. It's our right what we are getting. Now this no patronage, these two words, this one phrase, if you understand it, you will understand the politics. You will understand the present situation, the past situation, and you can create the future in India or any other part of the world. In terms of India, in case of India, I will explain this as per the different classes of the people in India. Now, I am telling you this as per the different classes of the people, not being a casteist, not on the basis of caste, but on the basis of the constitution of the Indian society. And from where does that Indian society is coming on. But before that, I would give another example from Dr. Ambedkar's saying. He was also very cautious when he was talking about the communities, communal things, communal awards. He said that always and everywhere there is a class of people, and the class of people is a class of people. For example, in Europe, all Europeans are Christian, but there is another class that some are Norwegian, some are Hungarian, some are British, some are Scottish. And he says, if you want to make them one, it's very difficult. Even then, like an example of Europe, they were different and they fought two world wars. So to say they will become one because they have one religion doesn't make any sense. Because people, though professing same religion, they are attached to same culture, they are attached to same occupation, they are attached to same land, and that creates a community. And sometimes the same faith also creates one class of people. Now this lecture was delivered to scheduled caste, and why he formed the scheduled caste federation. This was delivered. So why for the scheduled caste federation? Now in India, particularly if we say in the Indian society, the constitution of Indian society, if you read the second sutra, second hymn of chapter 1 of Manusmriti, which is a preamble of Manusmriti, it divides the people in different classes called Varn, Jati, Caste, and other. So this classification was already there. In that classification comes first classification when we are talking about scheduled caste. They are Antyaj, outcast or outside the one system. They were never the part of one system, the class system, or the urbanization, or even the village also. Now, what is that one system? What is that class system? They are different classes. One class in this one system. There are two classes basically. One is the Dvij class, another is the Shudra class. In Dvij class, there are again three subclasses: Brahman, Vaishya, and Kshatriya. Brahman is a priest class, Vaishya is a business class, Kshatriya is a princely class. These three classes form Dvij class. Then there is a class called Shudra class, which forms all the people who are doing other works. But there were some works which were considered as menial, like leather work, cleaning work, making cloth. In India, even making gold. The class which was making gold is considered as Shudra. Shudra is the servile class. The servants of these three classes. They will depend upon the mercy of these servants. And with various law books in India like Narad Smriti, Manu Smriti, other Smritis and other texts, the society was already classified into these classes, and there was a class of people. Sometimes they were considered, sometimes not. They were the Aboriginal Indians, later given the label of Aboriginal Indians because they were Aboriginal Indians, because they are Aboriginal Indians, and these people are the scheduled tribes or Adivasis in India. So this is the constitution of Hindu society. So when Dr. Ambedkar was delivering his speech, it was to the scheduled castes or depressed classes, as he said. As per Hinduism, they were always remain a separate class. That is why Dr. Ambedkar formed a separate class, a federation of separate class. So because a separate class was already there, separate from the other Hindus, which he called caste Hindus. Caste Hindus means those who are regulated by the caste, by the rules of caste. I am not going into the depth of all these things. Many people knows about this. You can also learn, but you have to understand what I am trying to explain you. No patronage. So even in these ancient Hindu law textbooks or religious textbooks, the constitution was created, law is created, giving particular right to particular class of the people. Shudras were given least. Antyaj never considered to give whatever they have. If the cow is dead, they can go and eat the dead cow, but not the live cow. Any decaying, they can go and eat. I wonder how they got their ration at that time. That's different issue. Now that is history, but come to the another class, which is the Shudra class, which we now call them as other backward classes or backward classes. So this question was already there. Dr. Ambedkar in his resignation letter, I have made a video on that, that in his resignation letter, he writes about the issue of backward classes, that they are not provided safeguards in the constitution. And we know that Congress party didn't provide them any safeguard. Even when the Bharatiya Janata Party BJP came to the power, for almost more than 50 years, it was left to the mercy of the party. No political rights have been given up to now. Only some rights in the executives and education have been given, and that also after 45, after 55 years of passing the constitution. So this was one of the reason. So this other backward class of Shudra, they firstly at that time when Dr. Ambedkar was working on the Scheduled Caste Federation, that is uniting all the scheduled castes, this people in this class were fighting for their right to be a princely or to class or to be Kshatriya class. Their concern was not to become a backward class, but there were some people who were doing. That's where the question of backward class came. They had a leader, I don't know his initial name, he was Mr. Chaurasia. Mr. Chaurasia was one of the leader of the backward classes with Dr. Ambedkar. Then there was Sir Choturam, there was Periyar. These leaders were there. So backward class movement and anti-Brahman party movement was going on at that time, but they couldn't form, they didn't get a single leader like Dr. Ambedkar, and they couldn't form a OBC federation. The third class is the scheduled tribes, the people who are living in the remote areas. Dr. Ambedkar has said that Hindu society, though call itself a great civilization, they never considered for, they never had regard for these people. They never provided the facilities to these people, and up to now this is the situation. So because they are in a lesser number than these two classes and they are segregated and they are in the remote village, it's very difficult to go the learned words, the language into these villages. How could these people who understand democracy, would understand, they could read the American literature or British literature and go to the courts? It's very difficult for them. And the bad thing is now they are captured by some other groups. I'm not going into that. So they also have to form a class, a scheduled tribe federation. Dr. Ambedkar said they have to do this. And he said, I will do whatever I could do, but you have to do this. If you don't do this, you will be merged into Hindus and your rights will become obsolete. Another class which I will give is the depressed Hindus and Muslims. Why I am uniting these two classes? Because I think these are the people who think that things are going bad in the country in the terms of politics. And when they will unite and form a single front, a federation of depressed Hindus and Muslims, the message will give to the world and to our neighboring countries who wanted to divide India, and also to the powers from India who wanted to divide our country on the basis of religion, that we have formed a new nation, we are in the democracy. In democracy, we don't consider religion. So we, from the two opposite poles of thinking, have come together for democracy, for our nation, for ourselves. And another message can be given that religion is not part of the democracy. This is a very good example. If you could form this kind of a class, depressed Hindus and Muslims, then I would say form a class. Sikh, Muslim, Parsi, Buddha, Jain. They are all in minorities. They all have to come together and make one federation. Because if you make one federation, then only your numbers will be improved. Otherwise, you are in a very less number. And when these communities, though in less number, they have very strong power in terms of financial power, in terms of education, Jain, Sikh, Christian, Buddhist also. So it will form a very powerful alliance. So now, why these alliances are important? As Dr. Ambedkar said, no patronage. No patronage in politics. Now you will understand when it could be possible that no patronage in the politics, Because the question of equal rights depend upon two things. One, the internal functioning of this right, that go and cast the vote, get the political power, get the political knowledge. But this whole sphere of political rights also depend upon whether there is a patronage or there is no patronage. If there is a patronage, these will become obsolete. These will have no power. Even you have political knowledge, even you have equal political rights. Then if there is a patronage, equal political rights, knowledge won't work. I will explain you what is political patronage with a very famous example of Babu Jagjeevan Ram. Then I will come to the present examples, not calling the names. People say that because Dr. Ambedkar passed away early, it was because of Babu Jagjeevan Ram, Mr. Jagjeevan Ramji, that he took care of the scheduled caste classes, their benefits, their reservations. Now the question comes, but who formed that class of people? Did Mr. Jagjeevan Ram worked on the forming that class of people? No. He entered in the politics in 1936. He was given a patronage by the Congress party. By 1930, Dr. Ambedkar has already formed the Scheduled Caste Federation. In 1931, he went to first round table conference. He was the first to deliver his speech, 1.5 hours long speech. And later on, rest is the history. Constitution was formed in 1950. It was passed in 1950. The first federation came in the power in 1930. For 20 years, it was Dr. Ambedkar who worked on this class. He made this class so powerful that it couldn't be kept away from the arena of Indian politics. And this class has also become very useful for the victory of political parties. In the recent years, we have seen that Aam Aadmi Party in India has come in Delhi, in the power in Delhi, because in the first election they got more seats from the scheduled caste, because they as a class given they gave vote to Aam Aadmi Party. Then again also it was only after the good victory in the first election and then in the next election they got more numbers that they were able to form the government on their own. And even if when they are lost, when they have only 22 seats, out of 22, 12 are in the reserved seats or they are the seats of scheduled caste people. So it was the mercenary work of Dr. Ambedkar, the laborious work of Dr. Ambedkar, that he created a political class. Now you could not shed your eyes from that political class, because even after Dr. Ambedkar, his party survived. His party worked in the contested in the next two elections. It is still there, and there are various fragments of that party. But apart from the party, the class was formed. A political thinking was formed. A federation was formed. Not in the form of intercaste marriages, but in the forms of politics. And you couldn't close your eyes from that fact. But in case of Mr. Jagjeevan Ram, he was patronized by Congress. That is why he was put in the front to give whatever the subsistence used to be given or have been given. But as I said in the very beginning, that in case of patronage, you don't have right to ask. Sometimes you become so important that you have to be given. So to come into the power, and we know that Congress party also had very less number of votes in the first election in 1952 and lesser in 1957 or 58. So with lesser number of votes, they were left off Muslim as a class which were voting to them, Brahmin as a class, and scheduled caste. They are the main three classes. So they were winning election because of these three classes. But they gave patronage to them. Patronage in the form of what happens in the patronage. They put a leader from either from their own party, or a leader is created from another party, from behind the curtains, behind the scenes. That person who got the patronage in the form of money, in the form of media coverage. Sometimes he could be a political leader of one particular party. Sometimes he or she could be like a professor, or from some government services, or from some, any other areas. And this is still happening. This patronage is also being given sometimes to the politicians from another party. The problem is when this kind of situation is formed, the whole society first they got away from their political rights. Their all political rights are diminished. They are depend upon the mercy of that person who has been given patronage. They look for that person. He is actually a puppet, and the party who is giving the patronage can run that puppet show so long it wanted to run. This is this is this is you understand why Dr. Ambedkar said no patronage. So I have explained you. If you go around in your mind what I said, first, what is a political class? What is a class? What is a political class? Second, how patronage is dangerous. It will diminish even if you get the political rights, in that even if you get the voting, because it will diminish, because if the patronage is given, and generally the patronage is given through a puppet leader, then he will misguide the community and he will have no power. He or she will have no power. Why? Because he is a or she is a patronized. Masses are running after that leader, but that leader is a puppet, patronized. So better to keep in your own class, make a federation, scheduled caste federation. I said on the 8th of August, 24th anniversary is coming. Then on the 30th, on the 8th of August 2030, 100 years are going to be over. So that is the 100th anniversary, a centenary we in all India should celebrate. Along with that, I am making this video because you don't know, the life is short, but the message should be given to the people for the future. The OBCs should form their federation as soon as possible. Scheduled tribes should form their federation as soon as possible. Depressed Hindu and Muslims and the remaining minorities should form a minority federation. And then as per Dr. Ambedkar, they should come under one party. Now what is happening? This happened at the time of Dr. Ambedkar. I will give the example of scheduled or other backward classes. Kashiramji then worked on other backward classes. Some of them were given opportunity to contest election. In his first, they were given education, political education through BAMSEF, through DS4. Then they were given opportunity to contest the election. So a whole time was spent on creating the classes of backward classes, a federation of backward classes, not in terms of backward classes federation. DS4 means actually backward. BAMSEF starts with backward and minorities. So, and then he gave them opportunity to contest the elections. But now what's happening, that rather than they forming a federation, they got divided, and different parties are like taking help of the leaders in winning the elections. Now, because there is a no federation, I will not say these leaders are bad. They are very good leaders because they are the trained leaders during the time of Kashiramji. But the problem is they are not united. They don't have a an OBC federation. So they should form an OBC federation. Only then their power will be a real power. Otherwise, it will be like the parties will say, okay, you come to us, we are giving you patronage, but then you won't be in a position to bargain, to negotiate, to get the rightful legal right. And as soon as possible, backward classes should start a campaigning for their political rights. And it will only the political rights of the Shudra class that Indian politics will be changed. Dr. Ambedkar understood that. That is why he asked Congress to give them political rights in the constitutional safeguard as soon as possible. Congress have never given so far by Congress or BJP. In the states, they say we have formed the committees, we have given in the 11 states, reservation was given, but that's okay. Actual power comes in the center, the military, the economics, the foreign ministry, the policy makings, the planning commission, the everything. All these are all are in the center. So you have to come to the center to capture the power in the center, to regulate the new laws, to make a new country. You have been the servile classes of this people, this country. You have been the cultivators, the kumhars, the potters, the badais, the ironsmiths, the carpenters. You have built this civilization along with scheduled castes. But now you have to form one unified federation. And then I said that federation of the depressed Hindus and depressed Muslims are as important, because this will keep a very good switch, a watch on the other people not to get corrupted. And as I said, that a good message will go. And then the scheduled tribe federation, your problems are too much, so come united together, arrange the meetings. I have given you, if you go to the meetings of scheduled caste, one day Dr. Ambedkar was coming to this scheduled caste federation, another day he was coming to this, he was traveling throughout India. I mean, if you look at the life of those people 100 years ago, they were so enthusiastic, they had so much passion, they were able to achieve so much thing. I mean, it's a history to be told to the world about the scheduled castes of India. The most marginalized section of this country has developed a so powerful political class that any government, whether it's coming in the name of secularism, whether it's coming in the name of Hinduism, they can't close their eyes from this political class created by Dr. Ambedkar. And very unfortunate that now people say what Dr. Ambedkar has done to us, because they don't read the history. They don't read the history that their forefathers have created the one of the strongest political class, now constitute 25 crore of people, 250 million people of the world in a one class. And you have a guiding principle which has been given the award of the most talented, most educated person in the history. I don't remember right now because and the Federation of Sikh, Christian, Buddhist, Jain, Parsis. As I said, they are very strong people, so they can also keep their eye on the wrong things happening in the government. When they are formed, as soon as they should be formed, as soon as scheduled caste federation, there is no scheduled caste federation. Someone has created this year, I think, or last year. I also wanted to revive this. I wanted to celebrate on this 25th, on this 8th of August into 2025, that 94th year, and then 95th year, I think, in this year, and then by 2030, every year I wanted to celebrate this, but not only for scheduled caste, not only with scheduled caste, but as I said, all these classes, if you form the Federation of OBC, Federation of the depressed Hindus and Muslims, Federation of the scheduled tribes, and Federation of other minorities, OMs. So I hope this message is clear. I don't think there is anything left now to make you understand the importance when he said no patronage. So now, but it's happening. Political parties are saying, I will give patronage to this caste. We have made leader of this caste. We have made leader of this class. We are giving patronage. No, you don't have to go after these parties. This is a wrong way. Democracy, as I said, will only come when people participate, when people get united. So, as Dr. Ambedkar ji said, educate about politics history. Then he said, organize. Organize means your, form your, it's not chronological, but I'm saying you, form your organization, federation. Then agitate means struggle for your rights through, what? Through participation in the election with the political party. And one political party should be there and all should come with that political party. But the balance in the power in that political party will remain only when the constitution of that political party will be made as per these federations, various classes of federation. And then if in Indian act or any act is made or constitution is made or constitution is amended, that all political parties have to abide by their constitution, because now many political parties are not abiding by their constitution. There is a no check on their constitutions. Like many parties says that elect we will select through election our president, but that's not taking place in all the parties due to various reasons. So if there are these federations coming in one political party, I think that will be better. So if you wanted to read books of Dr. Ambedkar, though it's not for, this is not an advertisement show, but this is for you, history and politics. As I said, you might not follow politics, politics will follow you. If you wanted to read his books, you can call me. I do wanted to make a political party, but it won't be successful if what I told you is not there. So if you are making federations, you want me, I can come, but remember, Dr. Ambedkar also said, I will not be there all the time. It's you have to get educated. If you wanted to read his books, you can go on the websites, various websites. You can download his writings and speeches or Wangmais in Hindi. There are also some other languages. I also have some of his books, but not these Wangmais. Sometimes I have, sometimes I don't have. But if you wanted to read his books and books written on him, some books which are written by me, I have written so far in Hindi, but there are books in the English also on him, on Buddhism, on caste issues, on politics. You can call me on any of these issues on 852 7533 852 7533 Another number is 88511 We also have a WhatsApp number 8447 8447 I forgot that number 8447913116 and we have a website nspmart.com nspmart.com. Those who want to email me, they can write my email sablanian@gmail.com. I am Nikhil Sablania. I hope my message is clear. Lastly, I would say you might not follow politics, but politics will certainly, definitely, surely hunt you. Thank you very much for watching.